instead of starting by relaxing. Begin by noticing how quickly the mind produces commentary, labels, impulses, and instructions. Even in this moment, even before you try to change anything, thoughts are already appearing on their own, and that observation alone is important because it shows you something fundamental. Thoughts happen, but you do not have to chase them. Right now, there may be a thought about doing this correctly, about time, about boredom, about curiosity, about resistance, and none of those thoughts require action. They are simply events arising in awareness. Today's session is not about stopping thoughts or controlling cravings, but about recognizing the space in which they appear. Social media urges often feel powerful because they masquerade as commands. Check now. Don't miss out, just for a second. Hypnosis today gently dismantles that illusion by teaching the nervous system and the mind to see thoughts as experiences, not instructions. As you continue listening, allow your body to settle in whatever position it is already in without adjusting it to feel better. This is intentional. You are learning that comfort does not have to come from fixing or changing every sensation. Notice where your body is supported and where it is not, and let that be exactly as it is. Now bring attention to your breathing, not to regulate it, but to notice that it happens without mental involvement. Breathing is a useful comparison because thoughts are similar. They arise without permission. And yet, you do not feel compelled to control every breath. This same relationship can form with thoughts and cravings. Let your awareness widen and notice any thought currently present. It might be a word, an image, a memory, or a subtle urge to move. Instead of following it, simply note silently, thinking, and return to listening. That small act of noticing without reacting is the skill you are strengthening today. Compulsive scrolling often begins with a thought that feels urgent or convincing. The problem is not the thought itself, but the belief that it must be obeyed. ACT and mindfulness research show that psychological flexibility increases when thoughts are seen as mental events rather than truths. Hypnosis allows this understanding to become experiential rather than intellectual. As awareness deepens, imagine each thought appearing like text on a screen that scrolls by on its own. You do not need to tap it. You do not need to respond. It moves along naturally. Some thoughts are louder than others. Some repeat. Some feel emotional. Even so, they eventually pass when not fed with attention. Now notice if a craving arises. It might be subtle or obvious. It might take the form of restlessness, impatience, or the image of your phone. Instead of pushing it away, allow it to be there fully. Notice where you feel it in the body, perhaps in the chest, the hands, the head. Observe its shape, its intensity, its movement. Cravings are sensations paired with thoughts. When observed separately, their power weakens. The sensation can rise and fall, and the thought can appear and disappear without requiring behavior. This is not suppression. This is clarity. As you watch, notice that cravings are not constant. They pulse. They fluctuate. They change when attention changes. This teaches the subconscious that urges are temporary experiences, not permanent states. Now allow awareness to settle into the space that contains thoughts rather than the thoughts themselves. There is a sense of being the observer, the one noticing, rather than the one being pushed around. This observing presence is stable even when the mind is noisy. You are not trying to hold on to it. You are simply recognizing that it has always been there. As this recognition stabilizes, the mind feels less crowded, less urgent. Thoughts slow not because they are forced to, but because they are no longer believed automatically. Imagine encountering the familiar thought, "I need to check right now." See it clearly as a sentence that appears in the mind. Add silently at the end, "I'm having the thought that." This small phrase creates distance. It reminds the subconscious that you are the one noticing the thought, not the one trapped inside it. The same applies to emotions. Anxiety may say, "Do something now." You can notice, "I am noticing anxiety." This language matters because it rewires how the brain responds. Distance creates choice. Choice creates freedom. As this practice continues, notice how the urge loses some urgency. It might still be present, but it feels less demanding. This is the nervous system learning that it does not have to react immediately to internal signals. Reaction has been trained by repetition. Non-reaction can be trained the same way. Now imagine a future moment when you would normally scroll automatically. In this imagined moment, see yourself pausing just long enough to notice the thought, the craving, the sensation. You do not argue with it. You do not obey it. You acknowledge it. And then you choose. This pause is powerful because it restores authorship. Over time, these pauses accumulate and compulsive patterns weaken. As the mind becomes more flexible, notice that identity begins to shift. Instead of someone who is controlled by cravings, you experience yourself as someone who notices cravings. This distinction is subtle but transformative. You are not your thoughts. You are not your urges. You are the awareness meeting them. Allow that understanding to sink into deeper layers now. Feel how the body responds when you stop fighting internal experiences. Muscles soften, the breath steadies, the mind opens. Resistance consumes energy. Observation conserves it. This is why mindfulness reduces compulsive behavior. It removes the internal struggle that fuels urgency. As the session continues, notice that even silence between thoughts is noticeable. That silence has always existed. It was simply unnoticed. In that silence, there is no craving, no demand, no instruction. Returning to that silence again and again builds resilience. Thoughts can come and go without destabilizing you. Now gently affirm internally without repeating aloud. Thoughts are allowed, urges are allowed, reactions are optional. Let that sentence echo softly, not as a rule, but as a recognition. You are retraining the subconscious to associate safety with non-reaction. Over time, this association becomes automatic. As the session moves toward completion, imagine carrying this skill into daily life, noticing thoughts during stress, boredom, or discomfort, and responding with observation rather than impulse. Every time you do this, you strengthen neural pathways of self-control that feel calm rather than effortful. Finally, allow awareness to widen fully, taking in the whole of your experience as one field, sensation, sensations, sounds, thoughts, all appearing and disappearing within it. You are not any one of them. You are the space that allows them. From this perspective, compulsive scrolling loses its grip, because freedom was never about removing urges, but about no longer being owned by them.